SandCity Sports. I'm looking out. The shot looks good. Okay, to get us going on here. Coming in a little bit late, but the nighttime is the right time, us particularly in the summer on Cape Cod. So I'm very excited to be with you today. It's been a long day. It's been a good day. It's been a glorious day, and we'll get into that. But as we start these episodes out, shout out to Move to Improve, first of all. Yeah, last time it was Unity Day. And by the way, Unity Day is tomorrow here in the township of Barnstable on the peninsula of Cape Cod, specific to the village of Hyannis. For any of our local people, and I'm going to go through. I actually have to go and hit that. I got to do my last thing. Boo-boo. Yup. Got to get the Facebook Live off for the local people. So Unity Day is tomorrow. That's essentially, what is Unity Day? First of all, it's about unity in the community, as you can tell from the name. But it's like a block party, like a town cookout that we had. Oh, see, can't leave well enough alone. I got excited. I messed up my shot. Now I need to. Okay, let me come back. I can don't. Once things are right, I'm looking. Okay, this side is right. That side is right. The shot is correct. I get so excited talking. But Unity Day is tomorrow. We rock and Move to Improve right now. I'm a proud basketball official. Move to Improve was a camp. I say was not in existence anymore because the gentleman that ran the camp, Mike Stevens, who was at the top of the referee pyramid in the world of college basketball. Mike retired from officiating and is now assigning. He might still have the camp since he's an assigner, although I'm not participating anymore. But for a number of years, went out to Move to Improve. Great camp. This is for those that are not officials. We wear these light kind of flex fit. I don't know if that's not even the right word to describe it. This is the kind of shirt that you'll wear under the referee jersey, and it's comfortable and it's smooth and all the rest of that stuff. So we proudly rock these. Move to Improve. Good camp and officiating. We'll get into that. It's just something I enjoy doing. You want to add value. You want to add that surplus value to the game and make it a good experience for all, right? That's how I look at my officiating. I look at myself as a conductor of a symphony. People don't show up to see me run around in a zebra suit. That's not why you show up. You show up to see a ball game. And so Move to Improve was a great camp with that theory in mind, that perspective in mind, and that we want to give the people what they came to see. We want to have those scales be balanced. We want to allow people to express themselves, show the emotion. That's all. And, to a certain extent, we have sportsmanship. We have those things. But get out, and let's get active and let's get after it. Okay. And that's what good officials, great officials understand and want to bring to the athletic competitions. And so rock these proudly. Shout out to Mike Stevens, who did a number. You might not know who Mike Stevens is, but you know who Mike Stevens is because he did a number of NCAA championship games consecutively. He was doing the championship game year after year after year after year, and then he retired. So if you remember, and I know you do remember the Villanova UNC game. I know you remember that, not just because Michael Jordan was in the stands shedding tears, okay? Showing the vulnerability and the reality and the humanity, but just a wild game. Mike Stevens was the referee on that game. So when we say referee, that means he was the captain boss, right? In a 3-man crew, you have the referee, boss, then you have U1, umpire 1, umpire 2. Mike was the referee on that game. So you've seen Mike, even if you didn't know that you had seen Mike. Shout out to Move to Improve. As we do at this particular point in time, we got to go across and see where we at. Yes, indeed. And we already got one view on YouTube. Shout out to that one view. I appreciate that very much. I like the late nights. The late nights are kind of inclined for me, and we see a connection later on. I do have to kind of switch up. It says Team USA's uphill climb, 49 tough tactics. We'll talk about those, but I go back and I switch it up after. But shout out to the peoples on YouTube. Jump in the chat. I can see the chat. Questions, comments, concerns. Keep it positive. That aside, hit me. Give me the good body shots, the good jabs. I'm here for all of it. Let's see what we doing. I gotta go up. I gotta scroll up. Okay, so hold on. No. What's going on here? Cape Cod Kid, I'm not seeing. I'm having an issue. Let me go to profile. Let me come back. Okay, yes indeed. Good. Twitter is rocking with me. Very good. I couldn't see it, but then I can see myself just going to the page. So Twitter is rocking with me. Very good. We are 2 for 2, 3 for 3 with Twitter, and the Twitch is rocking with me as well. Okay, so we got all 4 lined up, and let's get to the races. I talked a little bit about myself and the refereeing, but folks, we're going to start with the Olympics. Okay, no better place to start. And when we're talking about the Olympics, I have to start with Simone Biles. Okay, capturing the oldest all-around champion. And when you say old, that's in gymnastics speak. She's only 27 years old. But this kind of caught me by surprise. Not the greatness, because the greatness was already established before the Olympics. And you've seen, most gold medals, 23, 24, 25 gold medals in global competition, over 30. And I'll have to go back and check that medals overall. So the dominance was well known. The legacy was established before this Olympics. But folks, what come to my mind and looking at Simone Biles is she very well could and frankly should have 3 all-around championships, right? Not just the first woman in history to have 2 all-around gold medals, not just the oldest woman athlete competitor to have 2 all-around championships, but folks, let's go back 4 years, 4 whole years. Okay, games in Tokyo, Simone Biles took a very courageous and costly stand at the Olympics and said, you know something, my mental health is not right, I'm not competing. The mentals are not right, I'm taking a step back and taking care of first things first and getting myself right. I'm going to do, no, I'm not even going to go out there at 50%, 75%. I'm just flat out not competing at all. And folks, let's be very clear. That is a strong take. It's a controversial take, right? Because obviously there's pressure. Obviously there's stress. Obviously, an athlete is going to, feel all of these emotions as they're going into the competition, right? We know all of that to be the case, folks. All right. And you get the yips or whatever you want to call it, and your mind and your anxiety. And so all those things are just part and parcel of high level competition, right? And in that perspective, Simone Biles could have competed, just not at 100%, right? But I don't think that's the theory and the reason, the rationale behind what took place in the 2020 Olympics. She could have competed. She wouldn't have been at her best, likely would have medaled, just given her skill. But for her to say that I'm not going to be, essentially, I'm going to protest. Now, is it, right? I think protest is an accurate parallel. She wasn't protesting anything politically, anything socially, but from the standpoint of saying, I'm not going to compete because I want to highlight the importance of mental health and it being okay not to be okay. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't a protest moment in the same way as when things happen in the world and people kind of rise up. But I think it had that same significance from the standpoint of the costliness to the greatest gymnast of all time. There's another through line to somebody that protested and paid the price. A one Mr. Muhammad Ali, right? No, I'm not going to Vietnam. I'm not going to do the exhibitions like Joe Louis did. I'm not going to participate in any way, shape, or form to acknowledge and recognize the injustices that are taking place right here on American soil. Okay? Muhammad Ali was not going to be on the front lines. Muhammad Ali did not have to put his life in danger. He did not have to give the last full measure of devotion for our freedoms, for our liberty, for our democratic processes, for our way of life. He didn't have to do those things. He had to be essentially himself a famous person a very influential person, an inspirational person in the United States military, and then basically go home like the other athletes and the other celebrities. And he said, no, I'm not even doing that. Okay, so with Muhammad Ali, and that to be a conscientious objector, right? But 4 years in his prime, gone. To take that stand. And so Simone Biles, it's not 1-to-1. Let's be clear, folks. I'm not making a 1-to-1. But it is of the same ilk. It is cut from the same cloth. Yes, they're in the same ballpark. That's what I'm saying. Okay, it's not a direct Muhammad Ali protesting, and then we can look at other protests that took place. You want to talk about protests? How about Curt Flood from the world of baseball? You want to talk about free agency? We'll talk a little bit about signings and who's making what money in the NBA. Yes, we're going to talk about the WNBA. Right? Everybody knows the dollars. Everybody knows the figures. Everybody knows the value. Everybody wants to get that max level value. Do we remember Curt Flood? A man who sacrificed his career in Major League Baseball, saying what we're saying right now, back then, in the good old days, where people knew their place. Huh? Yeah, the good old days, where people knew their place. Meaning players, you take pennies, peanuts, compared to the billions upon billions of dollars that this sport generates. You're going to take pennies and peanuts, and you better be happy with that, or else. Or else. Okay? Not these 50-50 splits that we see now. And of course, it's never going to be 50-50, 100% with the ownership class, with the corporate class. It's never going to be at, because power concedes nothing without a fight. Power concedes nothing without a fight. And not going to be 50-50 split, exactly. But the players are going to get a substantial portion of the overall revenue across the board in professional sports. Yes, you're a part of that 1%. Who do we have to thank for that? Curt Flood. Years and years ago in baseball. Don't talk about free agency in football. Story of a player going to Vince Lombardi, stepping in his office and saying, something, Vince, I'm this player. I think I deserve this amount versus that amount. Because remember, folks, and the history teachers coming at me. And we'll get back to Simone Biles. We're going to get back to Simone Biles. History teachers coming at me. Professional athletes used to have part-time jobs in the off-season to supplement their salary while they were professional athletes. Let's go across. We got a couple views in the YouTube. Appreciate that. And I got to get my little promos out. Please go ahead and hit that like button. Please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. More than all of that, folks, I want you to tell me how you feel, good, bad, or indifferent. Okay, get involved in the conversation if you feel so inclined. You can sit back and just watch if you want. That's fine too. Okay, but I appreciate the likes. I appreciate the subscribes. And I most appreciate the commentary of good, bad, and different. What's working, what's not working, how we can get better. And then any contribution you might have. That's the most valuable out of everything. Okay, we started with Simone Biles. We're talking now, okay, about a man named Curt Flood, somebody who paid the cost to be a boss, a real boss, right? A true legacy. Right, where people don't even know. And shout out to ESPN. This isn't the 30 for 30 that I came to know Curt Flood. This isn't the 30 for 30, the glorious series from ESPN, the glorious 30 for 30 series. Okay, can't tell you how much that's impact. We go from Chris Herron, Unguarded. Think about that all the time. Prior to Fall River, Massachusetts, I was just thinking about Larry and Muhammad. Okay, you know what I mean? Larry and Muhammad, great 30 for 30. That championship bout. We go to the Marinovich Project. Had no idea who Tommy Marinovich was. Any 30 for 30, all of them. The series is crazy. But this was Sports Century, where I learned who Curt Flood was, through Sports Century. And I'm dating myself, but I don't mind. It's been 25 years. Boy, you coming up on 25 years for your boy. Coming up on 25 years for your boy since I done graduated from high school. I say it, I ain't ashamed of my game. It is what it is. It is what it is. And our team won a state championship in football. It's a huge achievement. Have won a state championship since then. We're going to get another state championship soon. Shout out to the Barnstable, now Red Hawks. Used to be the Red Raiders. Going to get a state championship soon. You heard it here. Okay, the program and the boys, they building. They building. They got a leader that's leading, and the boys is hungry. They building. So made it to the Final Four last year. We're going to get a championship. But it's been 25 years since the last one. They're bringing that team back. in the fall, and I'm looking forward to that. I wasn't on the football team. I played basketball. I also played tennis and ran cross country. Wasn't on the football team. Couldn't take all that hitting, in the cold and all the rest of it. Um, but that's going to be in the fall. Okay, right. So I'm dating myself when I talk about Sports Century. I don't mind it because that series was awesome. That's how I became again aware of Curt Flood. All right, who that? Curt Flood is the father of free agency. That's who he is, the father of free agency. And for fighting that fight, and eventually, because power concedes nothing without a fight, eventually forcing the owners to a concession to allow players to have the liberty to go from different teams within certain parameters. Baseball, different, right? You got to stay with that team for 5 years, but you have the ability to get to free agency and bring yourself on the open market. Of course, there's no salary cap in baseball. Okay, Curt Flood was, and he was a good player as well as he was I mean, he wasn't a great player. He was a good player. He was a great mind. He was banished from baseball. What do they call that? The shadow ban that we got on the social media. Social media call it the shadow ban. Yeah, they he wasn't, obviously nothing in writing, but the owners got together and said this, we're going to teach him a lesson and he's out of baseball. Hurt himself, financially, all that stuff. Should have retired, well, had money, been good, right? And just a quick aside that's crazy to me. So we talked about Simone Biles, and we talked about Muhammad Ali, right? They're paying the cost. 4 years in his prime. Guy named Curt Flood loses his career so that professional athletes can have free agency. It's crazy to me, and I saw on some of the great accounts that I follow and have the opportunity. So much great content out there on so many different things. Just creative people doing dynamic things on a number. But it was looking at how Jesse Owens, right, when he came back after being a gold medalist, used to have to race against horses in order to make money because he could not find a job. Jesse Owens, 1930s, Great Depression, early 1940s, America, could not find a job. Mind-boggling. Not so much because this is the Jim Crow era in American life. I'm not going to go too deep into the history, but a very difficult time for people of color and people that were not part of the majority population or the majority anything, your religious background, your social affiliations, right? It's a difficult time. But thinking about it, it's like there were because obviously you have an aristocracy in every culture. You have wealthy, influential people in every culture. That's what really caught my off. You couldn't get members of the African American aristocracy to say we're gonna subsidize Jesse Owens so he can live comfortably and then be an ambassador for ABC XYZ. That boggled my mind as much as, well, not as much, as I'm kind of taken aback in terms of looking at, right, as somebody who's so fortunate to have my grandfather still in my life. My grandfather's a World War II veteran, still in my life, 98 years old. Talk about attitude of gratitude and being grateful. Full head of hair, sharp mind, right? Grandfather Herbie, call him Herbie Derby. Unbelievable fortune, good fortune, and I had my grandparents in my life for the majority of my life. But right, Jesse Owens, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, capable, college educated, refused work. Okay, so we're not going to go too deep, but we're going to get back to Simone Biles. Again, is Simone Biles a 1-to-1 comp to Jesse Owens? No. Is Simone Biles a 1-to-1 comp to Curt Flood? No. Muhammad Ali? No. But it's cut from this same cloth in terms of paying a cost to make a statement. Simone Biles, and should is a, should. What does that mean, right? We're talking about a person that could have 3 all-around gold medals in gymnastics. Just completely transcending former achievements and resetting the bar. Now, that's not the case because 2020 was 2020. But in conclusion on Simone Biles, I do feel that this achievement, unexpected though it has been, because she wasn't the favorite coming in, did begin brewing 4 years ago when she made that stand, that she had it in her mind that when I do come back and people have forgotten about me, I'm going to remind you. And she has done that with this signature standalone achievement. Shout out to Simone Biles. Shout out to Katie Ledecky, who's still out there getting gold medals. Love the Olympics because it's on during these late night hours when I'm coming at you. Love the fact that I can go in, and obviously it's a replay, but still, and you can DVR stuff, but still, I just enjoy it. That's one of the great things about tennis when the tennis championships come on, particularly that first week. You got tennis matches on late into the evening. I just enjoy it thoroughly. The Australian Open is like that just because of the time difference. But it's a beautiful thing. Shout out to Katie Ledecky. Shout out to Simone Biles. Diana Taurasi's up there for 4 or 5, gold medals, whatever the case may be. I love LeBron James, 4th Olympics, multiple gold medals. I love those longevity angles and storylines that take place during the Olympics. Shout out to YouTube. I appreciate the people checking in with me on the YouTube. We still okay. Good. A couple in the Twitter space. Very good. As I say, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment. Good, bad, indifferent. Just keep it positive. As I say, keep it above the belt. Right? And we're going to keep moving. We're going to keep moving and grooving. And let's move on over. We're going to stay with the Olympics. And let's take a look at, on the men's side, Team USA basketball. They've been handling business. Team USA has been handling business, folks. And I'm not backing off any takes. I made it clear to you, I said this team was in trouble going into this Olympic Games, and I needed to see something, and I've started to see that, which is them starting to smack people around, which is them starting to land some power punches, starting to get some double-digit victories, right? Some 20 pieces. You put a 20 piece on Serbia. That's what I like to see. My understanding is the Sudan game ended at 19. The spread was 19-5 and ended at 19. Curious. And that's how it goes. Tough beats, tough breaks. Okay? But they're starting to assert themselves and show that, listen, okay, right? Everybody's good, you're skilled, and all the rest of that stuff. Okay, but what did Mike Tyson say? I said, well, everybody got a plan till you get punched in the mouth. Okay, when you had that Spence Crawford battle a couple months ago, right? Spence Crawford battle, and Crawford came out victorious, and that was just a good bout. 2 champions going at it, how it needs to be in boxing, and how they don't do as much as they should. But one thing Terence Crawford said was, I think I heard him, and he did with his power. But he, when Spence wasn't hurting Crawford with his power, okay, which was how that fight was determined. One man was able to connect and hurt the other. The other man was able to connect, but he wasn't hurting. He wasn't wearing down. He wasn't imposing on that fighter. And that's what I mean to say with Team USA. I'm seeing them, i.e. Terence Crawford, land those power punches and start to impose on these other teams, which was necessary. Okay, and now they got a momentum and a movement going. Speaking of which, and this is something whereas LeBron James, I have to give credit where credit is due. I love the fact and how he uses his physicality now later on in his career. I was hollering and screaming for him to use said physicality, which he's had the entirety of his career, earlier in his career, particularly in those years in Cleveland when they couldn't get over the top. Okay? Couldn't get over the top. And, it's LeBron. Take these guys into the post and just body them. All right, he was much younger, much more lean at that particular point in time, but still the function on the physical strength of, just a Hercules. Okay, now later on in his career, okay, you see LeBron just using, right? He's not a step faster, but he's just got that physicality, and he's the high IQ. He gets those switches, and when he has that small defender, he takes them, right down onto the block, i.e. Michael Jordan. Going to make that comparison, right? back to the basket, triple triangle offense. Okay. Later on in his career, Michael Jordan still scoring those points, but doing it much more efficiently. Okay, not exploding from the free throw line. Okay, but getting to his spots and executing. So that's one of the things with LeBron that I've just been really encouraged by. His shot is better. This is just me. I think LeBron learned or gleaned a lot playing with Ray Allen. I think he became a better 3-point shooter after his time in Miami. That's my take. Okay, not to not give him credit, but that's just something that I've noticed. And so LeBron can shoot the 3 ball. Occasionally he's gonna get 1 or 2 on you, the exploding. But then that aside, he's just playing chess out there. He's playing chess, and I love to see it. Also, a credit to Steve Kerr. I love him putting people to the bench. Started off with Tatum, caught a DNP, and B caught a DNP. Yes, you did. Period in the story. This isn't a YMCA. This isn't about being in your feelings. Okay? And it's different than the Dream Team in that, where I agree with it, and just for people to why it's happening, guys get in their feelings and they say, no, I'm not going to play, with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter because I'm who I am. I'd rather catch a DNP. Or I'm not going to, not play the first 3 quarters and then you're going to put me in the fourth quarter. I'd rather catch a DNP because I am who I am. I think that's a part of it. I also think it's absolutely ridiculous and foolish, right? Dream Team's blowing out a team by 50, so John Stockton doesn't get into late in the third quarter, early in the fourth quarter. So the heck what? Or whoever, Chris Mullin doesn't get into, so the heck what? I think the Dream Team, the choice was kind of easier for Chuck Daly also, simply because Larry Bird was clearly like, Larry started, we're going to start the greats, going to start Magic and Michael in the backcourt, with no 2 ways about it. By the way, on that Dream Team, and this is, again, just where the world, Magic Johnson could have played as long as LeBron James. I really should have. Magic had a lot left in the tank, a lot. He tried to come back a few times, and it was just it was tough because he had been the darling, and now people look at you different, right? And as officials, we say, and this is just something that's true in life: you're only as good as your last whistle, right? Mike Stevens moved to improve, NCAA championship game, big time, and that's something that I have gotten into, frankly, as an official. I'm too, I never say you're too big for a game. That's something, but this is just this isn't a, a crosstown rivalry, big matchup game where the place is, because that's the level that I'm at, and you can get it in your mind, when you're doing that freshman game and there's, 4 people in the, gym, and players can't even walk around and chew gum at the same time, but you're a big time, you should be in the garden, what I'm doing, and that's the thinking, that's the corrosive thinking that should never be there. And it creeps in, and it's got to be exiled immediately. A couple other things, just in, a little game from official standpoint that you might or might not be interested in. The lower the skill level, the higher the sportsmanship. The higher the skill level, the lower the sportsmanship. So a lot of times those freshmen, games, those middle school games, even though the players can't walk and chew gum, and there's a lot of, the game doesn't have a flow to it. Ball's not going to the basket. They can't play through as much contact. You got to step in a little bit more regularly. But those kids are just happy to be out there. They're appreciative. They're going to be respectful and mindful of you as an official. Those things are all very high in some of those low skill matchups. Now, what's the contrast? That big hyped up game between those 2 teams and the players that are going Division I, and everybody wants to see them. Okay, unfortunately, a lot of times what that breeds is incredibly low sportsmanship and conduct. Okay, and so you have to, as much as you're in awe of highlight here, and the referees, you keep your demeanor, but you're seeing the same game that everybody else is seeing. Okay, but the conduct, the attitude, the sarcasm, the snark, the disrespect is also a part of that equation that people don't kind of always see and kind of recognize. So all the way back to the dream, the original Dream Team, and it being right, because we got all the, but it's interesting. I think it's interesting what Steve Curry's doing. Let me just go ahead and click. Okay, Wow, YouTube people is rocking with me. Yo, I appreciate my people on YouTube. A couple views. Again, nothing in the chat. Nothing needs to be in the chat. That's not how you flowing and feeling. But hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I do appreciate any type of feedback. It's incredibly valuable, good, bad, and different, topic wise, whatever the case may be. On the local scene, the Facebook is going on a little bit late, but let's be honest, we know people are up late. I know it's the summertime, so some people, the work schedules are different, but people's is up late. And Twitter's going on and Twitch is going on. Very good, very good. What I'm getting at, let me just, so the players being in their feelings, not wanting to play, is just ridiculous. Just like a lot of this load management stuff is ridiculous. Get the heck out of your feelings. All right, let's understand the greater good and the greater cause. But so now let me just make a couple things. I'm loving that MVPs are getting DNPs. I'm loving it. I love that. And not just because it put somebody in their place. That's not why first of all, you have to do this because you have to shorten your rotation, right? Pat Riley said, what, play 7, trust 6, or play 8, trust 7? Yeah. Coach K, I'm playing 7 guys. You go to Duke, you better get in that top 7 or you're not playing, period, end story. I love that. I believe in short rotation. All the way back to John Wooden. John Wooden coached his top 7 guys. The other 5, assistant coach. You can work with them. These are the guys that I'm investing, that are getting the attention. There's no two ways about it. I don't care about anybody's feelings. All right. And, the national championships speak for themselves. I'm coaching my top 7 assistants. You do the player development with the other guys. That's just how it's going to be, period. So you're speaking my language when you're talking that talk. You're speaking my language. 7-man rotation is what I believe in. Olympics and, these teams are, Team USA is so loaded. These guys get along. LeBron brought the team together. No two ways about that after what happened in the World Championship last year. So these guys have a culture. They have a fraternity, and all of the things that had made Team USA basketball the juggernaut that it is back to being after going through a dip, in after the 2000 Olympics. And frankly, it just – the dream team was the pinnacle, 96, 2000, and then 2004, but that had been coming. And then we had to bring Coach K in, Jerry Colangelo kind of revamped it, right? But, it's that these guys, they get along, they have the understanding, they're very business savvy. The Olympics is great to build your brand, on that international stage, right? Shout out to Jerry Colangelo in terms of changing the paradigm. Not you have to do this for your country. You do this for your country, and there is a pride and patriotism, but it's also going to help your bankroll incredibly, right? Steph Curry, China trip. LeBron James, China trip. Kevin Durant, China trip. 1.4 billion people. 1.4, right? People, that's the number one thing to humanity, but they're also consumers. Okay, so Team USA, I like the fact that they, that there's a camaraderie amongst them. They're getting along, and I don't think Jaylen Brown would hurt this camaraderie. But by the way, FYI, yes, I did say that. And Jaylen Brown's doing some huge things in Boston in terms of economic empowerment. I will touch on that in terms of huge. But when I say like the team gets along, so when guys are getting along, like then you can, let me get this guy a couple minutes, here, a couple minutes there. And obviously you're talking about the best of the best. You're not losing anything when you go from a Kevin Durant to an Anthony Edwards, from an Anthony Edwards to a Jason Tatum, or so on and forth. Back to Steve Kerr. I've said, I like, it's a hard line. It's going to be, I'm going to tell people, you talk to Tatum before the game, this is how it's going to shake out, and it's not going to be this way every game, but it's going to be this way this game. That's just the way it's going to be. Shout out to Grant Hill coming in after Jerry Colangelo for establishing that culture where you can have those frank conversations. But I like the fact that it's not necessarily about who's the quote unquote best overall. It is about fit. Meaning nobody disputes like, oh, Jason Tatum played 0 minutes, and Tyrese Halliburton played 0 minutes, and Derek White played 15 minutes. What the heck is going on? They're obviously better than Derek White. So that's not the point. Derek White is an Andre Iguodala on this team. He's a glue guy. He's getting the deflections. He's getting steals. He's getting rebounds. He's getting assists. He's taking charges. Okay? Is that, well, first of all, Tyrese Halliburton's not even healthy. All right, after the battle again with my New York Knicks. So he's not even healthy. So let's just A. That's why he's getting his DNPs. But with Jason Tatum, is Jason Tatum your glue guy? Are those his specialties? To be an Andre Iguodala-like player? No. He's an All-NBA first-team type of player. So that's not what he's doing. Right, so when Steve Kerr said KD is the guy, because, right, KD, And shout out to KD, one of these timeless individuals, one of these basketball savants, and also basketball nerds, right? Kevin Durant years ago, right? Durant was supposed to be the one who was going to be injury prone, and Oden was supposed to be the Zeus. Shout out to Greg Oden. I think he's a dentist now. Wanted to, always had aspirations beyond basketball, but just had bad knees, and it just is what it is. Brandon Roy, right? NBA All Star, bad knees is what it is. Derrick Rose, MVP, bad knees is what it is. We don't do microfracture surgery. That used to be a thing years ago. I dated myself years ago. But were players like Kenyon Martin, Blake Griffin had microfracture surgery. Elton Brand, I think I remember. Elton Brand tore his ACL playing pickup. Unfortunate. Elton Brand was a problem at a Peekskill, New York. Played against my high school that I would have went to, Tappan Zee, because we don't acknowledge the Mario Cuomo Bridge around here. We don't. It's not the Mario. It's the Tappan Zee Bridge. We don't acknowledge that around here. As somebody that grew up in Rockland County, it's a Tappan Zee Bridge. No acknowledgement for Mario Cuomo Bridge. I like Chris Cuomo. He has some good takes on social, but it's the Tappan Zee Bridge. But Elton Brand played my high school that I would have went to, on his way to a state championship and a McDonald's All-American ship. And then Elton Brand just came out in '99. When '98 was his name. Elton Brand just was made it clear from day one that he was, and then the '99 team should have won a national championship, and the UConn team stopped them, and then he was number 1 overall pick and balled out in the NBA. But he had bad knees. Okay, so nothing to be done. Oh yeah, so I got on that, with Durant. And again, it's no shade, no snark on Greg Oden. It's just unfortunate. But Kevin Durant, not only has he been durable, not only does he have, and change the paradigm around, people talk about Wemby, you think you need to put on weight. No, and Wemby said, no, I think these other guys need to skinny up, which I thought was a really great response. They need to skinny up, not put on more weight. And again, basketball is a freedom of movement sport. It's not a contact sport. It's a freedom of movement sport with contact. As long as I can get to these places where I need to be, okay, all right, that contact is going to be on the defender, and I'll just go to the free throw line and hit 2 free throws, and I'll do it every single time. Like a pitcher, like a baseball player, like a batter with a really good eye, i.e. Tony Gwynn. That it's either going to be a walk or I'm going to get a hit, period. It's going to be one of the two, but I'm always going to be on base. So I like how Wemby said, the other players need to skinny up. And Kevin Durant, I think, is the poster. I don't think he is the poster child for just that frame. He has like a distance runner frame. But he also has he doesn't have great physical strength, LeBron, muscle on muscle, no. But he has great functional strength. He can maintain leverage in the post. He can contest high. He's a good defender. He has great anticipation. Yes, I said great, meaning Kevin Durant can defend all 5 positions. Yes, he can. He can get on the perimeter, and so long in the tooth, though he's getting older, no spring chicken for sure. He sat out originally, but when the lights come on and he locks in focus-wise, there's just, and this is going back all the way to 2008. And you can see why Coach K says he's the greatest Olympian of all time, just because, like, the longevity. And I know that's, because Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan had it in 84, 92. So, But Kevin Durant has, he's just incredibly efficient. What he does, obviously, 3-point line is closer. So they're basically like, elbow jumpers for him. Excellent free throw shooter, excellent mid-range, go to the basket, just a unicorn. And I think it's continuity-wise, like Jason Tatum is better than Kevin Durant. Yes, I said it right now. He's better than Kevin Durant overall. Tatum today is better than Kevin Durant today. Yes, period. Okay, and that's just father time. Who's undefeated, right? So, but Kevin Durant fits better with the team as the way the team is constructed. Because LeBron built the team, so it's about the old school cats. It's about LeBron. It's about Steph Curry, even though he's never healthy. It's about AD, right? The old guard. So when Steve Kerr says, Tatum, you're not playing because Durant is going to take all of those minutes in that spot that you play, that starting small forward spot, I respect that immensely. I respect, because that's what's going to be necessary for this team to win the gold medal. Right? And you see that, when he's shortened his rotation to a certain extent, and when he's gone, you can't play more than 10 people in a 40-minute game. And these guys, need their time to kind of get, and I'm not just going to, once you're right, because at that point in time, like you could throw Tatum in there in the third quarter in a game that the Team USA is losing because Kevin Durant doesn't have it. And of course, because he's Jason Tatum, he could get hot quickly. But at that point in time in a nip and tuck game, it's very difficult to just come in cold and then just get right into, so you're probably just going to trust that Kevin Durant, even like whoever that player was that you had in the, that's been getting the minutes, you just trust that a KD or LeBron or Steph, who's not having the best Olympics, but he's still Steph Curry, right? That he'll eventually get hot, rather than bringing in somebody cold off the bench. All right, so shout out to Team USA. Got Puerto Rico next. 30 some odd point, start, right? Clobber these teams. Right? Beat the brakes off some people. Okay, France, I'm hearing France, and I'm not sleeping on France by any stretch of the imagination. What I'm hearing is that their guard play is not. And by the way, I say what I'm hearing is because these games are on at like, to 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. Stop that, bro. Stop that. I'm moving, I'm grooving. You know what I mean? It's not, the games are not on like in prime time. The medal round will be, or the medal round, sometimes those games are on late night, speaking my language. But these other games, not able. I'll catch the replay. But France, not sleeping in any. But I thought France is the second best team in the world, and apparently it's still not. Apparently it is still Spain, which is interesting because they have a whole new crew, right? Gasol brothers, no. And so I'm wondering who the heck is still playing for Spain to make them the second best team in FIBA. All right, but we'll get to that as we kind of move forward. Okay, so let's go over. All right, man, YouTube, respect. Appreciate people, late nights. So, might be one of the only ones rocking. A couple people is with me on the Facebook. What's going on? I appreciate you. Appreciate, people sticking with me on the late night tip. Okay, 12:25, Christmas Live. Okay, and a couple folks on Twitter. Very good, very good. And we're going to keep it moving and grooving. Number of couple other things. Olympics is the Olympics. But shout out to the Team USA women. I love the fact that they want to play, and it's like a big deal. Caitlin Clark should have been on the team. Now, again, you say should, woulda, coulda, shoulda, yada, yada, yada. She should have been on the team. I understood then the rationale for not having Caitlin Clark be on the team, meaning Diana Taurasi is still playing USA basketball. Does Diana Taurasi deserve to be on the team? Yes. Is Diana Taurasi, this is like her 4th or 5th Olympics. So no. The way that you think about Diana Taurasi, she's not that player anymore. She's not that like white mamba best player in women's basketball. I think it's great that she's on the team and to be an ambassador for the team. But what I'm getting at is it's a catch-22 that there is a rite of passage to play on Team USA, the women's team. There's a rite of passage. And the younger players, the Inescus, like they have been told no. So that's my foremost rejoinder and rebuttal when people talk about why women's basketball missed a huge opportunity to have Caitlin Clark on this team to grow their game. Undeniably huge missed opportunities for all the same reasons I talked to you about the Team USA men's basketball and the change in theory for men's basketball Team USA under the leadership of Jerry Colangelo. It's not just do this because you have to. By the way, we had this same shift in our national life as Americans. Okay? Richard Nixon. Okay? Dick Nixon. Mr. Hawk. Mr. Get Tough, Mr. Law and Order. All right, and we know what happened with Watergate. But like that is the one that removed the draft from American life in favor of a volunteer military. The last person that you would think to make this necessary shift. A necessary shift, but a very difficult shift when you look at the history and tradition of the United States of America and military service. the modern day Roman Empire. And you're gonna say now that service in our military is no longer mandatory. This is an affront to who we are as Americans, and it's the correct decision. And we still have the most dominant, powerful military in the history of human civilization. With a volunteer military versus a draft military, the culture changed. Cultures change. Perspectives, paradigms change. You have to change with the time. Shout out to Willis. Willis is he's on his greasy. A lot of times he's barking right now. People know Willis is on his greasy. Good protective dog. Energetic dog. I'll talk to you a little bit about Willis. Malinois, police dog, canine dog, which is, he can easily stand on his back. I pick him up, like he walks easily. The energy is off the charts. The athleticism is off the charts. The need for attention is also off the charts. So he does need, so that's what's difficult about Malinois. But nonetheless, I was just quick aside, just going through, and I'm just going, late night. After I get my bus down, I eat late, which really you shouldn't do. I'm learning that the hard way. You shouldn't really be eating late at night because it takes the body time to process it, and pack on some pounds. But it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. But anyway, I get my bus down tonight. We got some, and it's late, you know what I mean? But I've had a long day, and I shouldn't have left you without a dope beat. So I'm gonna get my bus down. I gotta do this episode, rearrange things, and I gotta go do some editing and effects, and but I eat late. Tonight we got the chicken nuggets on the dock. I got the chicken macaroni. Shout out to Trader Joe's. Shout out to Trader Joe's. We're gonna get back to I know he's talking about the military. Now he's talking about we gotta do slice life stuff. Shout out to Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's, which by the way is expanding here in the Cape and Islands. The store is expanding, which I'm happy for because it's a really cool store. Christmas tree shop, which some of you guys might not know what the heck Christmas tree shop is. It's a huge deal here on the Cape. It started on the Cape. It did go to a number of different states, so you might know what Christmas tree shop is. Unfortunately, the parent company went bankrupt, so there's no more Christmas tree shop, which really is hurtful, frankly, culturally. Speaking of cultures, because it started on the Cape in the 1950s and was like a super duper cool Cape thing. So for not only for just for the entire thing to collapse, essentially out of nowhere, is no good. It's no good. It's unfortunate, but we're talking about times changing. But Trader Joe's is taking over one of the Christmas tree shops that's now just sitting empty. So that's a cool thing. What I was gonna say about Trader Joe's is the doggone talking about culture. I walk into Trader Joe's. Those people are so friendly. They got the awesome 80s tunes on the there's air conditioning, which is great in the summer months. I walk into Trader Joe's and I say to myself, I need to be a better person. That's how I feel when I walk in there. I'm like, this place, the energy in here, the vibe, the food is, it's like, it's not like, and they're building a new Whole Foods on the Cape also. Cape Cod people know what the heck I'm talking about. Other people, what the heck this guy talking about. They're building new Whole Foods. Whole Foods is expanding in Barnstable and Hyannis, which is kind of like the economic center of the Cape. But what do they call Whole Foods? And it's great stuff in Whole Foods and it's awesome. But they call it whole paycheck. Like Jeff Bezos, as cool as that store is, Jeff Bezos, low key is saying, I can shop at Whole Foods, but you can't shop at Whole Foods. That's what Jeff Bezos is low key saying. It's a super cool store and you can pay with your, all the rest of your stuff. By the way, you can do this, pay with your palm stuff. No, we ain't doing that. Pay with your palm stuff. That's crazy to me. That's a little bit of a side, but maybe the way of the future. It is what it is. But that's a little too far-fetched for me. I'll pay with my card and keep it moving from there. But Jeff Bezos is Whole Foods is expensive. Trader Joe's, I don't know if I found, just is a fact, it's less expensive, but they also have cool stuff in there and organic and all the rest. And it's just really, it's just a cool vibe. Shout out to Trader Joe's. So we're doing the chicken nuggets. We're doing macaroni and cheese, and then I'm getting older-ish, so I always try to do something green. So we got a garden salad going in with my, so that's gonna be late night, on the docket once we're done doing what we are doing. Now I'm gonna get back to Team USA, but I got to give you my little slice of life stuff. So Willis out there is keeping an eye. So what I was saying is, after I get my bus down, then you get a little bit tired, okay, I got to sit down, I got to rest. And then you go and you're scrolling through your different things and seeing what the heck is going on in the world. And I saw some, his breed, Malinois, I saw this, and you might have seen this. they have something that's literally like 15 feet in the air, and they release the dog here, and the dog runs, and then the dog literally runs up a wall and jumps. The dog ran up, like started climb the wall, and then push off the wall to go fly to this thing in the middle, catch it, and then the owner caught him. Like wildness. But that's Willis. That's his. I mean, he not to not. Oh, my dog is more athletic, but like his breed, these Malinars, they're crazy athletes. So Willis is keeping an eye on things and keeping everything good in the neighborhood. You might have heard him. You might have heard him in the background, right? All right. So what the heck was this guy talking about? Willis heard my name. Now he's banging on the door, which low key kind of scary. Kind of scary. When the door's moving, but it's Willis. If this is alive, so if the door does get bust down and it's not Willis, I will stand tall because I'm a little bit older. But like when I was younger, this was like, you know what I mean. I couldn't watch the scary movies because of stuff like that. You would be shook. But I will put up a decent fight. I mean, you'll know because it's live. If it's not Willis, you know what I'm saying. Whoever comes through, whatever kind of alien come through here, I'm gonna be tough to start with. Even though if I'm shook, I'm gonna be tough to start with. Hopefully I can, hopefully no aliens come through the door. Okay. Let me just check any commentary going on. A couple people rocking with me. One concurrent view. I appreciate that. Facebook, a couple. Okay. A little bit late. Twitter is still with me. We started talking about Team USA, then we went to the military, then we went off on a tangent. But now we're going to bring it all the way back to kind of what I was getting at, right? And it is the continuity with Team USA is strong. Continuity, right? Because I made the connection, talked a little bit about like the culture and, right? The continuity is strong. Why is the continuity strong? These guys generally get along with each other. They respect each other. They like being around each other. And they all understand the greater good in getting along is it's going to help their brand, right? They're going to help you can win the gold medal. You do this for your country, but also quietly, like we don't, say this out front, but we're laughing all the way to the bank behind the scenes. Because LeBron and Steph, all of them, whatever the brand that they have is going to be exponentially improved by being on that team. Okay, and that's a part of the paradigm shift that changed USA basketball, and it's evident. This team is embodying that, and it's going to continue to be the case. The young guys coming up for Team USA basketball: Cooper Flag, AJ DeBanza, Cameron Boozer, amongst others. Yeah. What now? Again, culture is strong, so the coach can coach them strongly, meaning league MVPs and league NBA champions, you're catching DMPs, period. Now, I don't think it's ever going to be unless, like it's like LeBron's not going to catch a DMP. Durant's not going to catch a DMP. Steph Curry's not going to catch a DMP just because they're the inner sanctum of the team. But I respect Steve Kerr doing it for that second wave. Ant-Man might have to catch a DMP. And that might be tough for him, but it is what it is. You catch it. Okay? That's just the way that this team is structured. And then, right? This team goes forward, wins the gold medal. Okay, reclaims Team USA's spot after the World Championship debacle. And then, because this is LeBron's last go-round, Steph Curry's last go-round, Kevin Durant's last go-round, the next Olympics, it's going to be Jason Tatum team. It's going to be Bam Adebayo's team. It's going to be Anthony Edwards' team. Right? Then the next younger guys that come in, the Cooper Flags, or Cooper might not be on the team, but whoever, then they'll be the ones to catch these DMPs that are necessary in the pursuit of a gold medal. Talked about the Team USA women's basketball. A couple other things that I needed to touch on in terms of the Olympics. Oh yeah, so the connecting point for the women on this subject, back to that. And we about an hour. We're gonna do at least another half an hour. That's just the way it is. We rocking and rolling. We moving and grooving right now. People on YouTube is rocking with me. I really appreciate that. I really most certainly appreciate that. And I gotta, we gotta give the people what they want. Gotta give the people what they want. We got plenty of other things. So we talked about Team USA. They're trending in the right direction. They're beating the brakes off of teams. Guys are accepting coaching. They're accepting some of these difficult decisions, and they're starting to build into what USA basketball should be, which is dominant. Okay, on the women's side, they are dominant. They haven't lost a game since 1992. Players want to be on the team, and that's the Caitlin Clark conundrum. Meaning, for everybody, it would be better if Caitlin Clark was on the team for everybody. Even that one player that was shortchanged, that had to wait another 4 years after they already waited, because on the women's side, like Diana Taurasi is not passing the torch, right? Sue Bird did not pass the torch. Brianna Stewart, like they're not passing the torch. I don't think they should have to, right? It's different in the women's game. Like this, the Olympics is something that they get a chance to be on a stage that they're not, you know, for the professional, the men's side, they have that global reach, but it's, in basketball, people like myself know the women's greats and have supported the WNBA since it came to fruition in 1997. But that, stage for these players is distinctive, given the difference in scale of the NBA and the WNBA. All right. Still, all this being said, it would be better for women's basketball if Caitlin Clark was on this team. There's no two ways about that, right? Because we're talking about dollars, and Caitlin Clark and this phenomenon raises the dollars, which is the rising tide to make things better for everybody. Nonetheless, it is the women's basketball team. It's a rite of passage. Like these players, it's the best players in the game, and they take it very seriously. And okay, fine, I'll get, but whatever player, and they could have went on social media and did all the, use all the narratives and stuff like this, and Caitlin Clark, and there's favoritism. We can do all the cultural stuff. No, Caitlin Clark is a baller. Caitlin Clark's a baller, period, end story. She's one of the best ballers in the world, period, end story, and she belongs on Team USA. And somebody that had waited their term that was like as good, maybe a little bit better, but like close, right? These are the difficult things. Remember high school sports, some of the difficult choices that the coach had to make. You have a senior that'd be great to be on a team, and a sophomore. The senior's getting cut. Now, I don't think that, I would have just kept both of them. That's how I would coach. And if you have one extra player, but they're a good team guy, that's not going to make a difference. But the senior's getting cut. It's how some coaches do it, because they're just as good as the sophomore, but the sophomore is going to be better in 2 years. They're going to be ahead of that player, and so I'm going to invest in this guy, right? For me, I would just keep them both, right? But that's how some coaches see it, and that's really what happened. What didn't happen with Team USA, like the senior, they kept the senior and cut the sophomore, who was Caitlin Clark, and I would have just had Caitlin Clark be on the team and dealt with the firestorm. Because you know why it was really an issue. And it shouldn't have been an issue. And there is, I have to use the J word, jealousy. Is because the star players were okay with this, and they shouldn't have been. The star players should have been, because we're again like saying, we talk about, just because you did it this way before doesn't mean you should. It's always needs to be that way. And if there needs to be an anomaly, and like obviously when you change, like when you shift gears, like when the shift happens, like for instance here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, under very strong progressive leadership, community college is now free for all residents. Community college is free. Now I'm somebody that went to community college, right? And I myself, at first you're like, man, I'm happy, but it's like, dang, I had to pay, but they don't have to pay. Like, what the heck is going on? That's not the point. This is an important shift for our society that's going to benefit everybody. So it's a good thing. Access to education, access to greater employment prospects, access to better standard of life, standards of well-being, standards of self-esteem, on and on and on. It's a win. So putting Caitlin Clark on the women's team, right? That player that had to wait, and this is unfair, and I waited my turn, and now yeah, obviously, and it's a little bit unfair that these guys are getting free community college, and I'm still paying some student loans. Too bad. The society is going to be better overall. Team USA basketball would have been better overall. Women's basketball would have been better overall with Caitlin Clark on the team. And that one person had to be shortchanged. It is what it is. But the veteran players are responsible, because they made a decision that made themselves feel better personally, but hurt their profitability. Right? And so you want to talk about all this stuff. Now, connecting to that, I saw that there's a women's 3-on-3 league, And, they're playing payers money, and Paige Buchers is going to get $250,000 to play in his 3-on-3 league, and yada, yada, yada. And it's quote-unquote threat to the WNBA, which it's not. And it's showing that, a league pays its stars, yada, yada, yada. Look, folks, the league wants to pay their stars, put Caitlin Clark on the team. All right, and stop with all this. This is the way it's been. This person is getting ahead of themselves. That's that same foolishness with them freezing out Michael Jordan. Stop that nonsense. Don't talk that freeze out Michael Jordan nonsense and then worry, and then in the next breath talk about boo-hooing about your revenue. Okay? Right? Team USA basketball, you build your brand and you build up your country. 1A and 1, or however you want to slice it. Not do this for your country or else. How is that working out? Right? Not well at all. All right? It's right that the modern era is different than the colonial, than the, industrial, all the rest of this stuff. People need to see things, shout out to Adam Smith, are in their self-interest. And if you give them that, you're just saving yourself a lot of tension, friction, backlash, so on and forth. It's good for business. It's good for everybody else. Okay? Again, as I said it a couple times, and I'm going to move on, the stars in the women's game need to embrace Caitlin Clark, period. And get on board, period. And include her, period. And get that profitability. Get that money. Get those ratings. To have your charter jets, to have your higher salary, to increase the league max, all the rest of that stuff. Okay. Let's get with the innovation and not be stuck in one kind of way of thinking. All right. So we did the Olympics. We shouted out the greats, Simone Biles, Katie Ledecky. Two other points regarding the Olympics, then we're going to get in some football. Shout out to Luol Deng. Shout out to Luol Deng, the South Sudanese team, right? I want to talk about things that matter. Okay. Saw some reporting that Luol Deng has been supporting this team financially for the last 4 years in the preparation to build them up to where they are right now, out of pocket. Okay. And right, war-torn country. It's been noted some of the inappropriate things that had been said previously, and but just recognizing, right? There's a first world, there's a second world, there's a third world. This is going back to my college years, right? What are you talking about? First world is the capitalist world, capitalist countries in the West, Cold War theory. The second world was the communist countries in the East. And the third world is everybody else. Okay? You have your capitalist countries. Right now, again, this is 2024, not the 1950s and 60s, so the Cold War. But, that's, okay? Your democratic capitalist nations, your non-democratic capitalist nations, second world, and then everybody the heck else is the third world. Okay? As they say sometimes, you people. The old you people is the third world. Okay? Not a part of either of these capitalist configurations, collections of countries. Right? And that's where South Sudan is globally. Then you add in warfare, conflict, displacement of people, right? So when we say things again as privileged Americans, we got to, just take into it, and I know we want to be interesting and engaging and get people to kind of follow us. And yeah, I know I get all that. And this is my passion project. I understand the theory and the recognition, but we can also be sensible. We can be reasonable. We can be intelligent. Okay. We can be positive. But, Luol Deng, great player at Duke, one of the one of the good players for the South Sudanese team you're going to be seeing next year a lot of, because they're going to be Cooper Flagg's teammate at Duke. So store that name away for later. Name escapes me right now. Okay, but you're going to know what I'm talking about. and just what kind of, there's a pride and that this is inspiring for our country. We who are going through struggles and trials and tribulations that first world people, privileged Americans can't even fathom, right? Remember when people said talk about first world problems? All of my problems are first world problems. One of the things I say is patrician problems. Okay. Even though I'm certainly not affluent, in the sense of you know, well moneyed, but my standard of living comparatively is exceedingly affluent and privileged and prosperous and everything else. Um, so yes, we do have struggles and we go through things, and every struggle is not material. We certainly know that in the West, in America. Um, but it's helpful to balance your social emotional struggles, i.e., somebody friend zoned you, or you didn't get your specific job of choice that your dream job on the first job, you know, or you got some pushback from your manager, because you don't have a very encouraging manager. These are all challenges and struggles, and they're nothing, I'm not saying they're nothing. They're something, okay, but they're a first world something. These would be nothing in the third world, okay. So beyond the respect for Llewellyn, I just, in terms of like this, you know, their pride and dignity, and to be in the Olympics, and to make these waves, and to that is what the Olympics is all about. That's that Olympic fire that we can see and kind of catch hold of, and can help us and inspire us a world of way, and in different circumstances, to do a little bit better with the struggles that we have. Okay, right? Shout out to my man Tyler Durden. Shout out to Face. Shout out to Fight Club. Right? What do he say to them? We're the middle children of history, man. No Great War, no Great Depression. Okay, what's the Great War and the Great Depression for a lot of Americans, a lot of first world people? Our Great War is a spiritual war, a social emotional war, a battle in our mind. Our Great Depression is our lives. Shout out to your boy Tyler Durden. Okay, we're the middle children of history. No Great War, no Great Depression. Okay, our Great War and our Great Depression is in the mental, in the emotional, in the physical. The wellness, right? It's not dealing with, as they say sometimes, the 3 R's: a roof over your head, rice in your bowl, rags on your back. The 3 R's, right? That's what they deal with in the third world, right? We deal with the ABCs. A lot of times in the first world, we deal with the ABCs. They deal with the 3 R's. We deal with the ABCs. We deal with the anxiety, we deal with boredom, and we deal with complexes. Okay. By the way, I borrowed that and I kept that, but I borrowed that. This is going back to my college years. That was on Catholic TV. One of the priests was giving like a talk. I didn't go to a Catholic school, by the way. Went to a small Christian school. Did not go to a Catholic school. My mom went to a Catholic school. My mom went to BC. I did not. But studied philosophy. I studied religion. I teach history. Um, different belief systems and different different belief systems, perspectives, and paradigms. I know this is a sports show. Okay, we're gonna give you some slice of life stuff. We're gonna give you some slice of life stuff, right? South Sudan. Oh yeah, and so I got that. You just was watching, but I just because you know um anyway, you go to and it doesn't matter what your religious background. That's not what I'm getting at. In this point, just to be clear. But I think people understand when you talk about like strictness and standards, and it's going to be a certain way. That's something that Catholic schools are known for. Um, and to give you that structure and that discipline, yada yada yada, and support. South Sudan, Luol Deng, I respect their what they're doing, and they may not medal or whatever, but they're in the mix, they're in the ball game, and it is a beautiful thing. Okay, last thing with the Olympics, we about an hour 10, we got about 20 more minutes. Let's just go over. We got anything? We got a couple views, couple people. I respect it. I appreciate it. In the YouTube, okay. Twitter is still going. The Facebook, my local people. We up late, but we doing it. It's the summertime. No, the nighttime is the right time. The Twitch is still going live. It's a beautiful thing. Hit the comment, yes. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. In the near future, we're gonna have SandCity gear coming at you. We got some SandCity shirts coming at you. I'm looking forward to that. Not gonna do the hats. A lot of the reason today's episode had to go down because my geometry, my geometry is strong. Got the haircut yesterday, so when my geometry looking right, we're gonna do an episode. When my geometry looking right, we're gonna do it. You can see me sweat a little bit. My skin is moisturized. Okay. Still, even though it's the summer, I gotta put my little bit of lotion on. I gotta get. Now you can't put too much lotion on. I had to learn the doggone hard way. I don't mind telling you folks, and we're gonna get back. But I don't mind telling you folks. I had to learn this the hard way because you grow up. You know what I mean. Person of color, you can't be ashy, so I need my lane. But there's more and more. So it's a tough thing because your skin will be dry if you don't put any more. If you're used to having lotion, and you don't put no lotion, your skin's gonna feel dry. But if you put lotion on when it's blazing hot outside, I learned the hard way, and the sun gets to you, and your pores are clogged up. That's when the eczema came in. That's when I have eczema because I would put the lotion on, and because when I was younger, and I don't know who said this that and people gonna know what I mean when I say this. But I don't know why I believe this foolishness and ignorance. If you can tell, I was talkative and outspoken and opinionated as a youth. I don't know if you can tell that, but I was. But somehow it got in my mind, and I believed that Black people of color, could not get skin burn. I remember in first grade, I say Black people don't have goosebumps. I don't know. It didn't. I went to I went to a predominantly white school. That doesn't have anything to. I mean, you can go to a school that's more diverse, whatever. It just has to do. I remember in first grade, I had my mom write a letter because somebody else. I was upset that somebody else got to do something that I didn't get to do. Miss Cavarzazzi. I wrote a letter because I was so upset that somebody got a privilege in whatever that I didn't get to do. I was in first grade. Man, I got to keep the show going, but that's just I'm almost at a loss for words thinking about this. That how I used to get down. But anyway, what I mean with all of this, and we're gonna get back to there is a connection to the Olympics. There is a connection to the Olympics here. But yes, people of color can get sunburns. I got some. I want to talk about, and just like, the most annoying, irritating, not the most, but like sunburns are the worst. Summertime and the living is good. So anyway, for long time, not so long, I am feeling my geometry is right. I'm sweating, but also skin got good moisture, which is important. You know what I mean? But I wear long sleeves now, folks, and I stay my behind up out of the sun. I stay my behind out of the sun. I don't want nothing to do with no sunburns. I don't want nothing to do with no eczema. Because again, this foolish idea that Black people don't get sunburn. I was out there on one of today was blazing hot, beautiful. We're taking in all this heat and humidity because I'm not a cold weather person. I don't want anything to do with the fall. I don't want anything to do with hoodie season. I don't want anything to do with pumpkin spice coffee. I want nothing to do with all of that. Give me the heat, give me the humidity, give me the sunshine. I need it all. I need it all. I'm saving these. I save these summer days because when winter come around in New England, ugh, it's cuffing season, and you better have, it's a long haul. It's a long haul. So the humidity in it is beautiful right now. But as I was saying, younger years, black people can't get sunburned, got cooked. It was so uncomfortable. I had to go to the dermatologist to give me like a prescription. Had to give me prednisone because it was just, it was awful. And people know what I'm talking about. So black people, if you're you can get sunburned, or hopefully you got good skin, and you wear you put the skin, because the sun it's not, it's worse. But wear the UV rays and all the rest of that stuff, and wear the so you don't get the sunburn. You can have fun out there in the sun and not have to deal with the discomfort, with the irritation, with all the rest of that stuff. Me, I'm long sleeves, and I find that shade. I find it. I didn't learn the hard way. I ain't dealing with no sunburn. Back to the Olympics, folks. What the heck is going on with the river? Where they can't do the river is so polluted that they can't do the triathlon. Are you kidding me? In France, a first world nation, are you kidding me? And one of the things that I do with these late nights, let me just go ahead and check to see, and we got a couple people rocking. I appreciate my YouTube people rocking with me. I appreciate you. And the Twitter and the Facebook and the Twitch, I appreciate. So what I do late night, folks, not late night. No, this is late night story. And then we're going to get back to sports. We got to get to the NFL. I'm going to get to the NFL. We hour and 15 minutes. And now I'm going to get to NFL. What I do late night is, if I'm, I'm on a YouTube, but what I went to, one of the things that fascinates me, and comes from a history perspective, I watched a video on water purification. Does that, I remember I saw it in the History Channel. I was like, are you, how, right? In the modern world, first world, all the plumbing and all the, the waste goes to the water treatment, and they turn sewerage into drinkable water. There's a process, and then you got to go through this, and you got to go through all these different things. And, do we put chlorine? Do we put ozone? But like, this is, right? A little bit of history perspective, right? The Roman Empire, the aqueducts, bringing water in 50 miles from the city, bringing clean water in to the city of Rome, the aqueducts. So you need that clean. How the heck can France not have a clean doggone river? I don't understand that. Like, it does boggle my mind. Not just the late night water purification videos. You see the videos on social media, in some, countries, whatever, where the river is just filled with trash, and they go and they bring the front end loaders and they take all the trash out of the river, and and it's actually a river. There's actually a river there, but it's just got stopped because there's all this trash. You've seen those videos? You know what I'm talking about? Am I the only one? Man, I might be the only one. I don't know. But they're crazy. Like, it just looks like a dump just in the middle of a field. And then they go and they start taking the putting it in the front, and then it's like, that's actually a river. And they clean it up. How the heck can France, you got the doggone Olympics, not do that with like one section of river? Why couldn't you dam it over here, dam it over there, and just make sure that this section of the I know a dam is a lot, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, you just need to purify one section. That boggles my mind. So shout out, people on the triathlon that couldn't do it because the river is contaminated. Sorry, it is what it is. Opening ceremony was great. There was controversy about the feast, whether it's Dionysus, whether it's, could look at it either way. I see the arguments on both sides. There is a feast of Dionysus, and I'm not gonna get too deep into that. Again, having the background, you have to see the different viewpoints and perspectives, and let's try to see that in what happened in the opening ceremony with that scene. But by and large, it was cool, even though it was raining, coming up the river, all the different teams. Great. Clean that doggone river. Just clean it after the Olympics. That's just bananas. That is just Beneezy's. Let me go down the list. We got a couple, and it's been an hour, so I'm not gonna be able. I hit the most. I'm not gonna dive too deep, but the end. How do I want to do this? How do I want to do this? Okay, we're gonna do a little bit of football, and then I just got a couple odds and ends in the world of basketball. So yeah, football's here. Preseason is here. And I don't pretend to be a football person. I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express. Don't pretend to be a football person. Did love Any Given Sunday. Shout out to Al Pacino and That Inch and Fighting for That Inch and Jamie Foxx. But for me, the NFL season and I'm interested in these upstart teams like the Houston Texans. You know, I'm interested to see if there's going to be a changing of the guard. Is a Trevor Lawrence going to take that next step to make, the Jaguars? And the AFC is just loaded. Can Joe Burrow stay healthy to keep the Bengals where they are? Are the Ravens ever going to get over the top and make it to a Super Bowl? Again, and win that Super Bowl. Like those are the stories. I just see a lot of teams that are ascending, and then you have the guard that's there. Like Patrick Mahomes not going anywhere. The San Francisco 49ers aren't going anywhere. The Ravens aren't going anywhere. But then there's these teams. The Eagles, are they going to get back into the mix? The Jets, can Aaron Rodgers stay on his feet and stop beefing with everybody under the sun to allow that elite defense and that, solid coach who knows his business on defense to shine, and you have a functional offense in an AFC East conference that looks like it's wide open with Buffalo in transition. Miami is all back. They're going to be one of these second tier teams that could. So those are the storylines that I'm super, and I'm not being a football person. Also, and then let me just, before I give my, just kind of overall cultural piece, I got Gerard Mayo's my dude. Gerard Mayo's my dude. We've been hearing reports about, coming out of the page, Drake May's not, and Drake May's going to be fine. And Gerard Mayo is going to be a solid coach, right? I ain't going to compare him to anybody, but he's going to be a solid coach, like other solid first-year coaches that came in and handled business. I ain't going to say no names, but Gerard Mayo is going to be in that camp, in that cup of tea. No, that's not a bad thing. He's going to be in that cohort, not a cup of tea. What the heck? What's wrong with this guy? I can't talk. I'm talking for a little bit now. We're going to finish this show strong. All right? And so that it's not that you lose, it's how you lose. It's getting late and I'm messing. It's not, I think I said it. It's not that you lose, it's how you lose. It's not, right? That's, right? Meaning, okay, you lose, okay, we lose by 7. We lose by 3. We lose by 10. We lose competitively. We don't lose by 20, 30, 40 points. Okay? Not that you lose, it's how you lose. And I'm picking the Patriots to be competitive. I'm not picking them to win many games, but I'm picking them to be competitive in these games and slowly but surely, right, build themselves up. And I'm confident in that. And Gerard Mayo, I like what I've seen, and he's going to come in and, it's tough to be the guy after the guy when I talked about this, but he's going to, the Patriot people, you know what I mean? Just like, again, Jimmy Johnson, and not to make a one-to-one comparison, after Tom Landry, and they went 1-15 and okay, what happened? Right? Exactly. Not that Gerard Mayo is Jimmy Johnson, but he is going to steady the ship, and he's going to get the ship moving in the right direction, and he's going to build, this team back up into competitiveness in the AFC East, no more AFC least. And then, the next step is, can you be? And the AFC is just so stacked, so doggone loaded, but get the Patriots back into contention. So that's, what I'm interested, that those second tier teams and coming in for, the greats, the Patty Mahomes boys of the world, or is my homeboy in that GOAT conversation, right? Because if you're a GOAT for greatest of all time, then what you do is you suppress these very deserving, these very capable contenders, right? Patrick Ewing's hurts my heart, and we're going to talk a little bit of basketball, but the Knicks are going to win 2020. The Knicks are going to win the 2025 NBA championship. Yes, I said it. With La Cosa Nova, yes. Yes. Okay. Um, but Patrick Ewing, no championships. Played in the Jordan era. Charles Barkley, no championships, even though he could have got one, at least one when Jordan, because the Phoenix Suns were the best team both of those years. Up 2-0 on Houston in 94, up 3-1 on Houston in 95. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Seattle Supersonics, right? Ascending team in 94, 95. Believe they got knocked out in the first round of the playoffs both those years as a top seed. And then they make it break through to the finals when Michael Jordan's back. End of that window. No championships for Sean Kemp. No championships for Gary Payton. No championships for Karl Malone and John Stockton. Jordan era. Patrick Mahomes very well may be that guy too. Lamar, no chips. Joe Burrow, no chips for you. Upstart CJ Stroud, okay, you got to wait your turn. Trevor Lawrence, no. Right? Josh Allen, no. This is the Mahomes boy era. So y'all might make the Hall of Fame, okay, but no Lombardies for you. Period. End of story. I'm interested. Is there going to be a changing of the guard, or is this current guard that's tried and true? Andy Reid, he ain't going nowhere. All them years in Philadelphia when he was right on the cusp and couldn't get through, he's not going anywhere now that he done captured the throne. Nowhere. And I love Andy Reid. I love when he gets out there. You know what I mean? I need a cheeseburger, baby. Give me that cheeseburger, baby. I love, when he gets, and Andy Reid is a coach's coach. Talk about his coaching tree, and he's a coach's coach. Guys that he's and how he does things, and he's able to let you be who you want to be, but he has that structure and he knows what the heck he's doing. And so he's not, took him a long, long time, all those years when they were right there with Philly, with the Eagles. So interested in that for football season. Another quick, the kickoff is going to be notably different this year. They borrowed, aka stole, the kickoff from the XFL. So it's a whole different format, which I think is super cool. Again, you're changing with the times. And the other thing that's interesting to me is these doggone hats on top of their helmets to reduce the contact that they're wearing in practice. I don't know if the NFL is going to go with those this year or next year. And they're starting to become more normalized because you're seeing them in practice. But yeah, it's only a matter of time. If they're practicing with those on, or maybe not. Maybe you practice with them just to reduce the injuries in practice, and then you play good old fashioned football, with your hard hat. But if it makes dollars, it makes sense. Even though the look of it is different. I'm interested to see what the NFL. I heard some reporting that those are the new helmets, like the spongy whatever on top of the helmet is the new helmet. Which, it's almost like the NBA with the leggings, right? When the leggings first came into fashion, I think LeBron was one of the first person, and it would look just like, what the heck, why aren't you wearing? You're wearing, pants under your shorts. What the heck is wrong? It didn't look right, honestly, because when they first started, they didn't, and the NBA did a very nice job with that because now that's become, everybody wears those, the compression pants under their shorts because it helps, with support, yada, yada, yada. But when the players first started doing that, they just wore, my point is it looked like the compression shorts. It was almost like stockings. And NBA, when they put in their uniform requirements, did a great job and said, no, the compression pants need to be tucked into your basketball socks that are a particular color, just so that it looked better than you were looking like you're running around stockings. So that was how that kind of, there's certain, you can have the, but you have to have your socks over the compression pants, and the socks need to be a certain color for everyone on the team, just so it looks right. Looks better. So I'm interested in the NFL if these new compression hats are going to be in the games. It will take a little bit of getting used to, but it does drastically reduce, to me, the amount of concussions. Players can play faster, you know what I mean? Because you do have that extra layer. And I also feel like kind of that's a part of the reason why players, like football players, i.e. Derrick Henry, have their dreads, grow their dreads out, because it does give you that extra cushion. No two ways about it, when you get popped. So on that note, interesting to see. In conclusion, folks, first of all, I want to say on a positive note, shout out to Kyrie Irving, who went over and visited Greece. I have had my reservations about Kyrie. No surprise, no secret there. Both born in the great state of New Jersey. Kyrie, is who he is, out of St. Pat's in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Hasn't been a great teammate in many instances during his career. I said many, in some instances during his career. Was a great teammate last year, and his teammate in the NBA Finals. But I saw a video of him over in Greece, just kind of working with, and just kind of being a good dude, and which was awesome. And I love to see that, and more positive, just approachable type stuff from Kyrie. Tip my hat, respect. And then in conclusion, Gordon Hayward retiring from the NBA, respect. Did not get a championship, had the gruesome injury on the first game of a year when they were, in the championship hunt. But a good all-around player. Not going to get in the Hall of Fame stuff now. But a good player. By all accounts, a good guy, good dude. And it's you move on to the next phase of your life and being successful in what the next journey is, and we tip our hat and wish him the best. Let me just go through the rundown, make sure I got to what I wanted to get to, and I did. Okay, folks, so thanks a lot. All the different platforms checking in, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I appreciate it. And we're going to keep building this thing up and trying to get better and doing what we're doing. This is SandCity Sports. This is your boy, your Cape Cod kid. That's what I can say at this particular point in time. That's all, folks. And we will see you next time. Yes, sir.